Episode 5. A fun one, actually, because I told you weren't going to be on the show.
You did.
And because my thing was I wanted to review engineers. And then you got fully back into music.
Yeah, lockdown helped me with that. But yeah, I am grateful to be the first artist on your show.
Oh, yes. Artist. Questionable. I'm playing.
Nice.
So
we're early on in the show and you're already hitting me with them ones.
So I met you in 2011.
Around
you had the same name as you do now, which is...
Abby Power.
Fantastic. Saved in my phone as Abby Powder.
For no reason.
No reason at all. And that was... You were how many years into your career at that point?
I don't even know if I was years at that point, to be honest. I think I was... Because that was when I was doing the shoot with Denaro Mucker.
Yep.
You was the photographer for that one.
I was indeed.
And yeah, I was a model, quotation marks, for their line. And I think maybe I was just maybe a year, if that. I don't even think I was recording properly at that point.
And you were how old?
I was, say, about 17.
Okay. And so you didn't... Were you writing lyrics in high school?
Yes. Yeah, I started writing... Well, it wasn't actually lyrics. It was poetry. So I used to watch Def Jam poetry.
Okay.
So Def Jam, the label, they used to run like a poetry jam on YouTube. Well, it wasn't on YouTube, but the videos that I was watching were, it was on a TV show.
Yeah.
That I was far too young to have witnessed when it was out properly. But people like Kanye West, Lauryn Hill, Shyhan, loads of people, Mos Def, they used to all go on there and just do poetry. And I was kind of intrigued by that because I knew them as artists. And then I suddenly see them do a different side to the artistry with poetry. So I started writing poetry. And
so at the age you did that, were you registering what an artist was? Because I'd say up until the age of 8, I didn't really...
Yeah.
I just heard music. I didn't know there was a person behind it per se.
I wasn't like ultra young. I was like a teenager when I first started doing this. Yeah. So music was something that started for me probably later than a lot of people. But it was still when I was about 14, 15. I would say. So 14 is when I think I started with the poetry writing. And then I used to send it to a couple of my friends and be like, oh, this is the latest poem that I've written, you know, what do you think? And they were like, oh, it's really good. And then they eventually were like, why don't you just like try and make lyrics out of them? And I was like, because I'm not a music artist. And then...
Is that literally what happened? It's like, these are good enough to be lyrics.
Basically.
You should deliver them as so.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I was writing poetry, but it seemed more like lyrics to other people. So
right.
I guess I intended to write poetry, which I guess just turned into lyrics.
At what point did you rap them?
So I was still in high school, I think, when there was just one song. It's not on YouTube, I've removed it. No one's going to find it again, okay? But it was called Shot Me Down, and I used an old Lil Wayne beat. And I went to this guy's house. He used to have a recording set up in his room in Harrow, so I went and recorded it then. And then I released it on YouTube. And then my friend was doing a media course in college at West Harts. So I must have been about 17, tell a lie. I was 17 because I was in college at the time. And she wanted to record a video for her course. So I was like, you know what, cool, I've got this song. You need to do the video. So we just did a madness, and I'm never going to show the video to anyone because it was one of them really low budget things we did when we were really young, didn't know what the hell we were doing.
Right.
But at one point in the video, I pretended to drown my then best friend in the bath.
Yeah.
So it was one of them really, just a home video with a shoddy camera. We don't know what we're doing with it, and then we put it on YouTube. So that was my starting point in music, which was, not the best, but... Then I started taking it more seriously. I started writing properly because some people actually liked the song. The song wasn't awful. The video was terrible, but the song itself was okay. And then I started doing more and more. And obviously because I went to West Harts...
You started making more and more records?
I started writing more and more. My apologies. And then when I left high school, I chose to go on a music technology course in West Harts.
Right.
And that's where I started obviously meeting all these new people. So obviously I met... Soundwave, I met Sam.
Yep.
I met Renee Soul. I met so many people. I met SJ Reed.
So what was your music at this point? Was it rap?
It was rap.
Was it hip-hop?
Always rap. It was hip hop. It was like old school hip hop.
Okay, cool.
all of the beats were stuff that could get me sued if I was to try and do anything with it, because I didn't purchase beats and stuff back then. None of my music you could play it. You can't play it on radio because it's not my beat. It's all old school, like Black Star stuff
Why?
or old Eminem stuff. Because I just liked it. I was like, oh my! I grew up listening to it.
So if
I
you
wanted
grew
to
up
hear
listening
myself
to
on
it, why? Right. So why do you want to hear yourself on stuff like this?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's just something that I'm passionate about, and if I'm gonna do music, I'm gonna incorporate the two together. I want me to be part of what I'm passionate about anyway.
So the instrumentals you pick, and even back then, mean something to you?
They do, because, you know, a lot of them have memories, like, when you're a kid, you listen to records and stuff like that. Like, with the one, I think it was for Better Place, like the Black Star record.
Yeah?
That was one that I listened to a lot. Because it was like a cypher kind of song, because Common was on it with Black Star as well. And I just remember loving it so much as a kid. And then when I was actually able to do my own version of it, I was just like, yeah, amazing, let's do this. Like, so it's kind of like that. It's nostalgia. Like with Eminem's first album, Infinite.
Right. Because you're a huge Eminem fan.
I was.
Okay.
I am. Look, I am. I'm not going to take away all the old stuff that he did, but I prefer his old stuff.
Of course. So at the time, Eminem was your number one artist.
Yeah, he was massive. And like, yeah, Infinite was a massive kind of thing for me because I love that. And not a lot of people really listen to it from the UK, I found. Like, they got involved with him when he became like Marshall Mathers and
right.
the Marshall Mathers LP and Slim Shady and all that kind of stuff. So the Infinite single for the Infinite album, I just loved the instrumental for that. And yeah, and that's when I made my song Closure with Jay Lynch.
Oh,
for
yes.
that one, yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel when you hear yourself on records that you've heard your favorite artist on this record and now you've made your own and you're playing back and you're listening to it?
I mean, listening to some of the stuff that I've done now, I'm like,
Okay.
Maybe you should have left that alone. Like, you should have left that to the original, like that.
But would you go back and re-record over those?
But now I probably wouldn't.
Why?
I probably wouldn't now. Because I've done it. I tried it, you know, and that was the thing. But now I feel like I've evolved to the point where I just want to make my own kind of journey. I don't want to be doing remixes of people's beats. I want to have my own style, my own kind of sound. So now I just only use beats that I will not get sued for. I have, you know, I have the rights to all of them.
So we've just jumped 6 years forward in the story. So we'll get to this part.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, tell me about the first album.
That was Amplified Mixed Emotions. It was a mixtape, it wasn't an album. But this was, me and Sam recorded this in, I think it was 4 days. We recorded it in his garage, where we always recorded. And it was 4 days before my 18th birthday, I think it was, that we first started recording, because I wanted it completed before the time I was 18.
Yeah.
So what better way to do it than do it 4 days before, you know, or within the same week. So we finished it the day before my 18th birthday, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I just wanted that. It was, you know, it was my first project, and it was the first time I was working with Sam. So, you know, so many cool things came out of it, like my record with Courtney Bennett.
Had you recorded before that point?
Not properly.
What does that mean?
Like, Sam, you know when you go to someone's house and they say they got a recording set, I mean, they don't really know what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was the first time I went somewhere where, you know, the person knew what they were doing and they were very talented and gifted in music. So I was like, cool, like, this is a different kind of experience.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, the other stuff that I did prior to that was, yeah, not really.
So you've now recorded in 4 days your first mixtape.
Yeah.
What happens next?
You know what? I feel like I've just skipped a whole bit of the story. As I'm talking to you, I'm remembering more stuff.
Tell me.
There was a point before it was just Abbey Power stuff. So I'm not gonna tell you all the details of this, because there's other people involved in this that may not want this resurfaced, because it's an embarrassing part of our teenage years. But I was in a group with two male artists. We were not N-Dubs, and we were not an N-Dubs tribute act, but it just happened that way. It just so happened to fall that way.
Because I can't imagine you with a fringe, so...
No. But yeah, so we were kind of recording stuff in the Roundhouse, and the person's dad was like kind of managing us and helping us and stuff because he ran art programs and all that kind of thing. And he met a couple of producers and we went to producers' houses and they were just people that were pretending that they were something they weren't. And
Right.
like they were
Okay.
pretending they were these big shot producers that could do this, that, and make all these kind of hit records. And when we got there, we were like, wow, this is not it. Like, and we weren't even established artists, and we
Yeah.
knew already. We were like, what is going on here? Like, and we made a couple of songs. I think it was about 4 in total, and we ended up performing those. It was an old abandoned church in London somewhere. Don't ask me where in London, but it was in London. And that was my first performance, and it was like an art event. So there was poets and all that kind of stuff as well. And then the microphones were working perfectly well for the whole time, the whole show, from start to up until just before we went on stage. And then the mics decided that they weren't going to work anymore.
Of course.
So we went on stage and we just performed the songs anyway. We were trying to get the mics to work, and when we realised it wasn't going to happen, we were like, well, we're on the stage now, we might as well just...
It is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
Just screaming at the top of your lungs.
Basically. I mean, because it was an abandoned church, the acoustics were, you know, they were all right, you know, so... But yeah, it was a really interesting first experience. But I
So how did you
completely
go from
forgot-
that to working with Sam?
Because of college. So there
Okay.
was around the same period of time, because I knew a couple of people from Northwest, and it was people from Northwest that I had the group with, and then I was going to college at the same time, and they were kind of side by side, and then I worked on. Yeah, no, I don't know if you know Swish Lynch.
Vaguely, because you mentioned it.
Yeah, so Swish is who introduced me to the people I was working with, and I knew her as a friend, not through like music, it was just because we were friends. But yeah, it was kind of the Northwest connections going on there, and then I had the other side, which was I was going to college and doing music, and that's where Sam and everyone else was. So there was 2 kind of different things I was doing at that time.
Were you still writing poetry?
Yeah.
On top of writing lyrics?
Yeah, every now and again I try.
What's the difference to you?
I mean, I don't try and make it... With rapping and lyrics, you kind of try and make it rhyme all the time. But with poems, you don't actually need to do that. You don't need to make it rhyme all the time. But I still... That's what I find difficult, because I automatically go into artist mode and start rhyming everything. And I try to kind of go around that.
So where do you express yourself better? Artist mode or when writing poetry?
Artist.
Why?
Because I put more into it. There's more thought into it, and there's more work into it, and there's more passion into it. So I definitely think as an artist. Poetry's cool, but...
As an artist, so you care about your words a lot.
Yeah.
Do you care about... How much do you care about your sound?
I mean, if you would have asked me this a couple of years ago, I clearly didn't care very much about my sound, because we were talking about this earlier before the show. I had a tongue piercing at the early stages of my career, and I never took it out when I was recording.
The clicks.
And there's a lot of clicks. You can hear it clicking off of my teeth. And now I can't listen to any of my old music because I can hear that.
Right.
And I'd never picked that stuff up before. I never cared. I was just like, whatever, man, I'm making it. Like, why didn't you just take it out? What is wrong with you? Like, and now I can't listen to the music. But yeah, now I do care. I do care.
To what extent?
To the extent where, you know, if something isn't creative or something isn't kind of wowing me the first time I'm listening to it, it's a problem for me. Like, I want to sit there and be like, oh my God, or have a massive smile on my face when I'm listening to something.
Because you've always been present in mix sessions.
Yes.
Like, you're usually there up until very recently, I guess. You've always been in the room. And in fact, we did them over Zoom.
We did, yeah.
So you've always been present while the mix is going on. So why do you want to, and you want to be,
Yeah.
whereas many people might not want to be. Why do you want to be in the mix? Like, what makes that?
I like watching the process. Like, even with you and even with Sam, I used to sit there and just stare at what he was doing. Like he would cut the breaths away and all these little things I would just notice he was doing and just watch. And then I just like watching something become something else, like what you
Right.
guys do. I like seeing it transform, and I find it interesting. I don't like... I much prefer seeing what's going on instead of me getting the mix in a couple days or whatever, or like... I like always being involved in the mix. I like putting my ideas in the mix, and I like seeing what you can do based on what I've said, and see, you know, what my thoughts transform onto a song, which is why I really appreciate what engineers do, because you are essentially putting what's in my head on a song for me and transforming it in a way that I don't know how to. So I'm very intrigued to watching it.
So then what does a producer mean to you?
Producers mean just as much. Like, me, I tried to do producing. Like, I say try it very lightly, but I bought Fruity Loops and I bought a MIDI keyboard and I thought, oh my God, yeah, I'm going to be Timbaland. But it's just, I just can't.
Trying to figure out how the kick key even is.
I just couldn't, like,
Yeah.
the beats is not something that comes into my head. I can't put something together that doesn't already exist, apart from lyrics, obviously. But I just can't do it. Like, there's some people out there that can just pick it up, do it, and, you know, they're really fortunate to be able to do that, because I would love to be able to do that. It's the same with DJing. I tried DJing when I was much younger.
I remember you had the decks.
Yeah.
CDJs.
I had CDJs and I had vinyls first. And I had the whole setup. Like, my dad, he made this whole setup for me to, like, have all of my stuff all on separate shelves, all for my records, everything, speakers. It was sick.
So let's talk about that. You have a thing for vinyl.
I do love vinyl. I don't know. Honestly, you're going to ask me why. I don't know why. I just love the sound of it.
Okay.
I guess that's why.
What's the first? Do you remember the first vinyl record you heard?
The first vinyl record. It's probably something from, like, my parents' time.
Did your parents listen to a lot of vinyl?
I feel like I vaguely remember a record player in my house. I'm sure I did, because there was this, I'm sure it was a big, massive one. You know, the ones that kind of stood off the ground? They were so big. And I don't remember what music they used to play on it, honestly, but I just found, I don't know why I grew up wanting vinyl so much, but I just was always really into cassettes and stuff as well. Like, I had cassettes growing up. I can remember those ones. Like, I had a really...
Well, your most recent... Well, this obviously hasn't out yet, but your most recent project is literally a cassette.
Yeah.
Every single tune still has that.
Yeah.
You don't hear that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, definitely don't hear it in the mainstream, because kids are going to be like, what's that noise?
Oh, yeah, what is that?
What car is that?
Yeah. Like, I just love the old school stuff. Like, I remember I used to have this little cassette player when I was a kid, and I used to be able... My mum used to let me play it as I was going to sleep. So she'd let me... you know, everything else had to go off, but if you want to listen to your cassette player as you fall asleep, then that's perfectly fine. So I used to listen to... It's so weird. There's a band, I think it's a UK band called Smokey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hella old. Like, I don't even know if anyone our age would know who they are, but it was my mum and dad's, and my brother had it before me, and he enjoyed Smokey. So we would listen to what my parents would listen to, and they were a really good band, actually, and I used to listen to that going to sleep. And it's so random, I know. It's not, you would expect it to be someone mainstream. It's not. It was a band called Smokey. And I'm sure they were from, like, the 70s or something. But they made really nice music, like, really good music. I used to fall asleep as a small kid listening to that kind of stuff.
Do you still sleep listening to music?
No.
Yeah, fair. How much music do you listen to?
I have the radio on every day. I know that doesn't really count. It does and it doesn't, but it's always on. But I found myself listening to less music the more music I made myself.
Okay.
Which is strange. Like, since I started recording more, I started listening less. And I don't know why. There's no reason. I just found myself not having the time to really listen to other stuff, because I'm too focused on what I'm doing next and what I want to create. And
right.
So, yeah, which is a shame. But I still obviously try and find as much time as possible to listen to new music. But I just find myself drifting away from it as I'm focusing on my own.
So your mum and dad gave you that cassette?
Yeah.
At what point did you start picking your own music?
My first... I know that my first CD... I can't remember what my first tape was. It was obviously that Smokey one, but...
You have a Walkman?
I did have a Walkman. And my first CD I bought, it was actually a single. And it was Avril Lavigne, Complicated.
Do you remember when they could get away with charging you £9.99 for 2 records?
I mean, they did a lot more. They did a lot of horrible stuff with money back then. I was a small child. I just wanted the Avril Lavigne Complicated, and you're charging me how much money for it? But it was my pocket money, and that's what I wanted to buy. So my mum took me into HMV. It was either HMV or Woolworths, because you either go to one of the two back then, or what was the other one? Was there Virgin Music or something? What was the one with the dog? I don't know, that was HMV, but I'm sure there was another music shop.
Virgin a music.
Good music,
record
they did,
stores,
didn't it? Yeah, it was one of those that I went to anyway, and I picked up the Complicated CD, and that's where my love for Avril Lavigne blossomed.
Through your teenage years.
It did. Well, no, that was when I was 9.
Oh, okay.
Like 9, 10, yeah, not see it.
Oh, so you fangirled on
I
Avril.
fangirled her, yeah. I was a little kid, man. That was my Billie Eilish.
Fair. Fair.
That was the original Billie Eilish. Yeah.
How I feel about that statement. I'm just going to pretend it's, we'll keep it moving.
The original baggy clothes, skater looking chick, she
Rapped.
didn't rap.
No, you.
Oh, me?
Yeah, and I distinctly remember seeing you in baggy clothes, or photos of you in baggy clothes from being,
Yeah. Yeah. I was a skater kid at one point, only because of Avril Lavigne. I couldn't skate for the love of money. Like, I couldn't. I did, actually, you would know where this is. Whoever's listening is maybe not, but Headstone Lane.
With the skate park?
No. There's where Headstone Lane train station is behind my house.
Okay.
You know that big hill that goes down? So it's a big dip as you walk down towards...
With the big bend?
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to go down that on a skateboard.
Oh,
Standing up, that's the biggest
not healthy.
achievement in my whole life.
How did
I
you
didn't
stop?
die.
I'm just on a...
I knew how to stop. Like, I used to slide the board and everything. I couldn't do tricks, but that was a lifelong
I
achievement.
think going down at something that's well over 45 degrees on a slope on a skateboard is...
It was impressive.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to do it now, because there's no way. Because when you're a child, you have no fear, so you don't care if you're going to fly over the railings at the end of it and land in the road. Like, now I'm okay. So I'll avoid it.
Now there's just like concern for the railings and
Exactly. Now I just have the memories of it, but it did happen.
So who do you listen to right now?
Who do I listen to right now? That's a good question. There isn't really anyone specifically. Obviously, I have my favourites, like Kalani and Rihanna. But Rihanna hasn't released music in a minute. But I listen to Drake, I listen to anything. I like The Weeknd,
So what do you look for in the records that you are listening to? Like,
Just
what makes
for
you
it
like
to
a
kind of
record?
make me smile, I guess, or to have an impact from the first couple of seconds. Like, if something doesn't captivate me from the first maybe 10 to 15 seconds, I probably won't really listen to the rest of it, because I have to feel something when I listen to the song. Like, I get, like, there's a song...
Is that why you have really long intros?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I like creative stuff. Like, I want to put things out there that people don't hear on normal music. Like there's a song at the moment that is a good example that I really like because of the impact it had when I first listened to it, and it's by Mira May. I think it's Women Like Me.
I haven't heard it, but
you need to listen to it. It's amazing, but it's very simple. There's nothing complex about this song, but it's just the way the instruments slowly come in and the way that she's singing, and it's it's like one of them songs that you wish that you had some input in, or you did it yourself. So that's what I kind of like. I want to be jealous when I listen to it. I'm like, oh my God, like, that's insane.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You like music because it means something, or it moves you in some kind of way, or it just hits you, right?
Yeah.
How do you even incorporate that into your own music?
Yeah.
Is that what you want for your listeners?
Yeah. Like, I've kind of realised and I've accepted that my music is probably not going to be played on radio a lot. Obviously, I'm going to have some songs. She says
having achieved
multiple
radio plays
no.
in the last few days.
There's very little I can say right now, because obviously that will take us into the realms of my new project, which is not what we're talking about right now. But there's just music that, as I said, you're not going to hear on the radio, because it's not the kind of music that anyone hears on the radio. I like to think that it's very different. And as you said, I have a lot of longer intros and a lot of things that people aren't going to want to hear on the radio, or won't play on it because it's too long. Like,
who do you think does want to listen to your music?
I'm just hoping people like me, like-minded people that just, just want to escape with music. So I just want people to be able to just put the music on and just go somewhere else.
Do you escape in music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you spent how many years without making a record? Because you've got, well, let's dial back. You had, oh my God, I don't remember the name. I just remember
So you
A&P.
had Amplified Mixed Emotions.
There we go.
And then we had Vintage State of Mind.
Yep.
Oh, imagine if I can't remember them. Then I had Transitions.
Was that the one that we tried to burn on a CD and then just wouldn't burn on a CD?
I believe so.
Yep.
And then we had Soul Searching was the last one.
And that took you up to the age of 20...
I think it was 21.
Okay.
Yeah, 21.
And then nothing.
Nothing. Well, actually, tell a lie. We did a couple of ones, me and you. Do you not remember for
Yeah,
SoundCloud?
just one or two records
yeah,
here
just
and
little
there.
things like they're still on SoundCloud now. Just a little funny thing. But other than that, like just playing around, nothing for 5 years. Like 5 Virgin 6 years. Yeah.
So you've had 2 records recently. No, sorry. In that long period of time, you recorded, I think it was 2 or 3 records.
I would say no more than 3. Oh, but we did the Paris cover,
Yes.
which was cool.
Prior to that, you were 3 to 4 albums in the period of, I think, just as many years.
Yeah, about 3 years.
How does that momentum stop?
Situations. It wasn't because I didn't want to make music. It was more to do with kind of what happened surrounding the music when I was making it. So the people that I was working with, that kind of thing. And then it just got to the point where I was like, okay, this isn't kind of going in the direction that it's meant to be going. Let me just focus on getting a day job and paying my bills like everyone else.
Yeah.
And then I lost passion for it because of the circumstances that happened while I was making it. Not because I ever fell out of love with music, just the things that come with, you know, the industry.
So tell me, at this point, you're recording in home studios? And
Yeah.
you're with independent producers?
Yes.
And so what are the kind of situations that you get into that force you not to work with a producer anymore?
Kind of not seeing the same eye to eye about things, or empty promises about stuff. There's a lot of empty promises, you know, like, so we'd work on stuff and then we'd have all these big ideas, all these these dates. Yeah, we're going to do this by then. This is going to be done by then. We're going to do this. And then one day they just decide that that's not the case. And then you're left there like, okay, so where does that leave the project? Where does that leave, you know? So it just gets frustrating. And if it's happening more than once, you're kind of just like, you know what, this is too much stress. Like, and then you just want to pack it in, which is unfortunately what did happen at that time.
Right. What are some of the biggest challenges you come up against when trying to produce your own music?
Financial, I guess.
Do tell.
It's expensive. Like, oh my God. Like, now I understand why I didn't have what I have now back then, because I wasn't on a lot of money at my job back then. If any, when I first started, I was in college. I had no money. What was it called? ESA? What was
EMA.
that? EMA. That's not going to get me a home studio. Like, it's
Right.
what, £40, whatever it was. And obviously I was under a label for a few years. And as I was under a label, it wasn't money that was coming out of my pocket. It was coming from the label. So
Right.
I had financial backing. So I went for years navigating through music, not having to really worry about that aspect of things, which is completely different now because I'm doing it independently.
Right.
And it's a lot of money, but to be honest with you, I think it is...
What cost the most?
What cost the most? My laptop. My laptop cost the most. Obviously, are you talking about like
No, just for you. I
anything
guess,
around?
sort
For
of.
me, my laptop cost me the most. I didn't go as bougie as getting a Mac in that, but it was still expensive. I managed to get a good discount on my
Yeah.
microphone because Courtney Bennett sold me her one.
Shout out Courtney Bennett.
Shout out Courtney, man. This is your microphone. This is actually the same microphone you
This
sold me.
is.
Because Arjun forgot to bring another mic, so I bought your
I
one.
did.
The blessed Courtney Bennett microphone. But yeah, I managed to get that at a really, amazing price, to be honest. I was very fortunate. And what else? Those are the two main things. And my interface wasn't so bad. But yeah, now that I have it, I've already made the most of
So
having
you
it.
have 3 things: a laptop, a microphone, an interface.
That's it.
That's all you need just to now put out an album.
Yeah. Let me not even... I was about to just reveal stuff. Yeah, that's literally it. That's all you need. Just those things. Obviously, with the cables and stuff, you need XLRs and that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that's it. Those 3 things. Nothing fancy. I don't even have like soundproofing in my room.
Do you like recording in your room?
I do. I like being able to just kind of wake up and be like... Because when I first got it, it was amazing because I had loads of stuff written already. So I went in, recorded and done my thing. But then there was a couple of weeks where one night I would just be doing something random, like I was in the bath or I was, sat in the bedroom and I would write a song and then I could just wake up the next day and record it. Like, and be like,
Yeah.
this is cool. Like, I'm just transforming this within a couple of hours And
while the idea is still fresh.
exactly. Like, and I'd be so excited about it because back in the day, obviously, or before I had the recording set up, should I say, like I had to wait for other people to be available before I could go and do that. And it could take a month, it could take more than a month, it could take a couple of weeks. By then, the momentum for what I've written, when I was initially excited about, is worn off because by then I've already written other stuff. But now, if I'm writing something, the momentum is there, I record it and it's done. Like, I don't need to worry about time. Like, I'll take early leave from work sometimes just to record a song if it's, like, in my head. So, yeah, no, I like it. It's cool. It's cool.
So while you weren't recording any music, I just want to go back to you, were you writing? Did you even go back to your poetry?
No. I didn't write anything for 5 years. About 4 or 5 years, yeah. Nothing.
So something that's an escape for you.
Yeah.
And actually, I think for most people, it's a whole world unto itself, right? You just dive in and everything becomes about sound.
Yeah.
What do you fill the time with, man?
Not music, I tell you that. Yeah, it was difficult.
Did you want to be recording? Like, while you're sitting there, in any of those, were you saying that, man, I wish I had stuff to say?
Yeah. I would sit and kind of watch things that everyone else was doing that I had worked with, and I was like, what am I doing? And I'd kind of brush it away and be like, no, like, I need to focus on something else because it was stress. I'd remember that it was stress and then just bat it away. And I guess I just kept it to the back of my brain until the lockdown happened, which gave me no choice but to think of everything. But, you know, it was that thing, you were sat in your house, the same 4 walls for how many weeks, and, you know, you think a lot, right? So you're not out socialising. Obviously, you got your family and stuff at home, but you have a lot more me time to think about things. And I kind of just got in my feelings about the music stuff.
Right.
So, and yeah, I ended up just taking the plunge and being like, you know what, it's kind of stupid that I'm not doing it anymore. Because even like over the years, my mum constantly, she's like, why aren't you doing music? Like, have you written anything? Have you gone to Arjun's lately? Because she knows that when I go to your house, I record, innit? So she used to be like, you know, have you gone to Arjun's? Are you going to Arjun's? Have you written anything? Like, not even have you made music, have you written anything?
Right.
Because she knew that that's how I kind of expressed myself and got stuff out. And I was just like, no. And she's like, why? And I was like, I just don't have the time, blah, blah, like. So she was always wanting me to be in music because she knew what it meant to me. But I don't know, it was just a strange 5 years. I was on a path of discovery, let's say.
Okay.
So, yeah, and now
How's your music changed?
How has my music changed? I don't think it's changed, like, I don't think it's done a complete flip, like, to something completely different. Like, I listen to stuff that I recorded, like, years ago, and I can still relate it to stuff that I record now.
Okay.
Especially with, like, the hooks and the singing and all the little singing bits that I used to do at the end of my songs or randomly in the middle of my songs or something like that. I still do stuff like that now. It's just I'm making original music now.
Got you. How do you incorporate singing into the writing process? So if I dial back to the very start, you've gone from just writing poems that don't even rhyme.
Yes.
And then you're making things that rhyme.
Yeah.
And then you're having to come up now with melodies. How are you?
Man, it's so much harder writing singing parts.
So why do you want to?
Because this is very controversial because I'm supposed to be a rapper, but I have a lot of fun singing.
Okay.
And I enjoy the process of singing more than I do of rapping.
What's so different?
I don't know, because with rapping, essentially, you are just talking. You are talking. Let's not lie about it. You are talking, but in a passionate manner.
Okay.
With a flow, right?
Yeah.
With singing, it's...
Words to a beat.
Basically. And that's why it's so easy for me to switch poetry onto hip-hop or a rap beat, because that's what it is. But with singing, as you said, there's more to it. There's melodies you have to think about. You know, there's all the little backing vocals, the high notes, the low notes, to, like, you know, to fill it up in your headphones, all them kind of things.
You didn't start with layers, from what I remember.
I didn't. I think I just sang.
You did one singing track, and then...
Yeah.
So tell me the journey of learning to not just sing. Have you ever learned to sing?
No. No.
What? So do you remember the record that you started on?
No, like, I just used to... No, I don't remember I used to sing anyway, like, in my room and stuff. Like, and then... I can't remember.
It's a big leap to be like, I want to record this.
But when I first started singing, I used to call it talking with a melody, because it was kind of like, it wasn't full on kind of singing. It was more like I was still essentially rapping, but with a little fluff to it. So it wasn't initially at first proper singing. I wouldn't say that I even now do proper singing, because
what do you call it?
I mean, I sing, but I'm not like, I can't do high notes and stuff like that. Like, I can do stuff that suits my voice, which isn't that big a scale.
Do you want to do more? Like, do you want to expand the range of your voice? And
yeah, I mean, I'm open to learn more, and yeah, I know that you can train your voice to do certain stuff. I like my sound, I feel, because I don't really relate my sound to anyone else's. I can't really say that there's a lot of people that sound like me and the way that I choose to do my singing parts in my songs.
Right.
I might be wrong. There might be thousands of people out there that I just don't know about.
But at least to you, it's your, like...
Exactly, yeah. So I don't mind that I can't do the mad falsettos and all this kind of thing. I just do me. And if I can't hit the note, then I'll scrap the note. I won't do it.
I've been there in the studio sessions with you. Fuck this note. Like,
yeah. Oh, we can swear on this.
Of course.
Oh, I didn't even know I was being PG. Okay. But yeah, nice. No, if I can't do it, I'm not going to force it. And I'm not going to sing something I can't sing and then make you put auto-tune or something stupid on it, because I couldn't do it organically.
Right, you've never been a fan of, even while it was popping, and you know, there was a whole era of just, okay, everything's got auto-tune now.
Yeah.
And you never did. I never heard a full auto-tune song from you.
No, I don't like it. I mean, look, it sounds amazing for some people. Like, don't get me wrong, like T-Pain music, all that kind of stuff, amazing. I love it. But it's not for me. I don't want to use auto-tune. Okay. And I don't even think that T-Pain should use auto-tune, because his normal singing voice is incredible. It's beautiful.
You seen the NPR?
Yeah.
Tiny Desk. Oh my god.
And I'm just like, are you serious?
Have you seen Anderson .Paaks?
No, I haven't.
Oh, we're gonna watch Anderson .Paaks after this. Show you some shit.
But yeah, I just, why? It sounds so much nicer without it.
So that relates back to your sound. So authentic?
Yes, I would like to think so.
So
I don't want to be those people that are, oh my god, I'm so organic, and yeah, no. But I try so hard to not be what everyone else is doing, because I mean, most of the time I don't really like it anyway. Like, I don't like mumble rap kind of stuff.
Got you. Which
is again going to be controversial for some people. Some stuff is good, but I'm not going to kind of sit there and say I'm a massive fan of it.
Any genres you really don't like?
Not really. I'll give everything a listen, to be honest with you.
Is there any genres you wouldn't make?
Bashment, probably.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't make bashment. I'm not really a grime person, to be honest. It's not my tempo, it's not my BPM, but there are grime songs that I like. Like, I'd love to be able to flow on it, but
so in your early days, you would take hip hop beats, and go over them. Have you ever taken a grime beat and tried to go over it, or actually gone over it?
No, nothing properly, I don't think. Like, we used to mess around when we were kids in high school. There was a few of us, like, because obviously I was always with the boys. Like, I did have girlfriends, but I got on with the boys more because I like to play football and I used to do sports with them. And
does that translate into you resonating better with male artists and female artists?
I do get on better with males better than females in the industry, full stop, I find.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, that's not how I want it to be. Like, I'd love to get along with everyone the same, but I guess, I know there's a lot of females in the industry, they're very girly and they're into, the long nails and the high shoes and the designer clothes. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But
no one actually knows whether or not you are wearing high shoes, so here's a rumour. Abby Power wears high shoes.
I'm wearing a pair of all black Jordans right now, so no, I'm not wearing any high heels. But yeah, I can just relate to guys on more things because they'll play PlayStation. I like PlayStation, They like football. I support Man United. Cool, I like football to an extent, not as much as I used to when I was a kid, but I still can have a conversation about it. Whereas if the girls are talking about nails and stuff, I'm just kind of sat there like...
okay.
Yeah. So I find, I can relate to guys more in that aspect. But yeah, in terms of grime, no. I just remember just being with a couple of my guy friends once, and we went to my friend's house, and we just had a microphone that just plugged in to, like the little microphones.
The USB ones.
I don't even know if it was a USB one. It was just, I don't know what it was.
A magic microphone.
It was magic. It wasn't magic. It was awful. But we just plugged it into his PC, and he brought up some random fucking recording program. I don't even know if it was a music one, and he played some. I don't even know what the beat was, but I know it was a grime beat. But they were playing it, and we were just going over it like some ghetto set in this guy's bedroom, and then we exported it and we were sending it to people. We were like, yeah, listen to this sick. No, it wasn't sick. We were like 14, 15, like 13, 14. But yeah, no, nothing seriously. I've never tried on grime. And when I did try on grime, I was terrible. Not to say that I would be terrible at it, but I'm out of my comfort zone a little bit when it comes to that BPM.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've been releasing new music. Mm-hmm. You're 3 singles in.
I am.
And how's the momentum going?
I think it's good. Like, it's better because I have a lot of control. This is weird. This is like a new thing for me, like with distributors and going through Spotify. All it didn't exist, or I didn't know about it, at least, really, when I was making music all them years ago.
Is it easier than you thought?
Yeah. Because I was thinking, because I still have PSR. I didn't think I had PSR yet.
PRS.
That's it. you know why I'm saying PSR? Because there's a thing at my work that's called PSR.
Got you.
Sorry. I do know about music stuff, guys. I'm not lying. But I had it from when I was in college, and I thought that you had to pay £100 a year. It's only £100
Right.
one-off forever.
Yeah.
So I just so happened to check if I still had it registered, and I did. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Cool. Let me just register my songs, because I was never doing that before, because
Right.
I stole everyone's beats. I didn't steal it. I just borrowed it. But yeah, now
Because you're going to give them back.
Because I'm going to give them back.
We're going to take the vocals off.
Yeah.
And send them back via email.
Exactly. Just clean without any
Here's your
vocals.
beat back.
But yeah, no, so it is a lot easier than I thought. Like, I think it was you that told me about Ditto and that kind of stuff. So yeah, as soon as I signed up for Ditto, it's pretty straightforward. It tells you, it's self-explanatory. So
Just to get your stuff on Spotify.
yeah, it's really easy. Like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So
Fair.
yeah.
What do you think is going to be the next challenge for you?
My next challenge is probably going to be visuals.
Okay. So you've done a fair few music videos, right? Like you're at least in the double digits.
I think so. I think I've done at least
If not,
10.
we're close. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely 8s, 9s, 10s, if not more.
Yeah.
How have music videos? So we've spoken so much, and even on the show we speak so much about sound.
Mm-hmm.
What do visuals mean to you?
Visuals are really important.
Why?
Because me personally, if I like a music artist and I really, really like a song that they've released, I hope that they release a visual for it. And I don't know why. I just want to see something to pair up with something I already enjoy. I want to see you. I want to see what,
Like experience it with you.
Basically, yeah. And I want to see your creative side, the visual side, and I want to see how you would pair your song with what it is you're showing us, kind of thing. And that's why it's so important to have visuals, because it does captivate people and it makes people want to go and listen to the song because they want to watch something with it. And I think that's just from people growing up with music channels. It's what we grew up watching music videos on TV.
You ever thought of the
MTV,
video
like-
before you... Sorry, you ever thought of the video before you thought of the song?
No.
Okay.
I can't say. I'm not that good with like storyboards and stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have obviously done the artistic direction or whatever it is for my other visuals, but I had help from the directors and stuff as well. But I can't really think of things, because all the things in my head are just wild things that you would have. There's no budget. Just spend as much money as you like. Get an army tank. Like, so, it's unrealistic
Tell
stuff.
me which record of yours do you plan on cruising through London in a tank
Oh,
on?
man. I don't know,
Your most recent project, which is entirely with Sam.
Yeah, it is. It is entirely a Sam.
Tell me about it.
When I recently decided that I wanted to get back into music, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Sam, but I feel like this is my memory of how we started talking again. I had messaged him asking about music equipment, because I wanted to know. Obviously, I was asking you, I was asking Sam, I wanted to know different opinions on different kind of equipment.
The laptop conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So I messaged Sam about that, because I knew that he'd have some tips and stuff for me and of what to buy. And I also got advice from Genesis Elijah as well, so thank you for that. And Courtney Bennett, thank you for that. Everyone. But yeah, I think that's kind of what opened the door for us to start talking again.
Had you been speaking before that?
Not really. No, I mean, we followed each other on socials and stuff.
Yeah,
And,
so the occasional message.
Yeah, the occasional like response to something they posted or something like that was the relationship that it was at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but then I guess we got back into contact, and naturally, Sam knew I was back into music. Naturally, of course, I wanted to work with Sam again.
Right.
So, it just happened organically as it did however many years ago. What is it, like 9 years ago that I worked with Sam?
Yeah, about that.
So we've come full circle. And it was like we had never taken a break, which was it was really cool. Like, I thought it was going to be a bit orcs. But I went to his house on Monday, just gone, and I hadn't seen him for like 6 years. And it was just like,
wow.
Yo, what's up, Sam? And then we just got cracking. We just got to recording. Like, nothing had ever even happened in between the 6 years.
You didn't still have the microphone taped to the wall?
No, he did not. No, he
not.
didn't have that. No, it was in here. Yeah, it was at his house, and Hennessy was there. Hennessy is his friend, and the guy is just an incredible guitarist. Like, it's insane. So I met him there as well, it was such a nice session. And it was weird, like, because you'd think after that long, it would be a little bit awkward, or you wouldn't really know what to say to each other, or you maybe act a little bit different, But no, it's just how it was like day one, back in the garage. So
you just feel like you picked up your music journey where you left it off?
I feel to an extent, yeah. Yeah, I just paused it. So I've unpaused it now and just gone back. I'm resuming what I was doing before, but on an independent level instead, and a more consistent level, and a level where I actually care about what I'm putting out instead of just getting... So now that I have my own stuff, I can sit there and perfect it for as long as I want. I don't need to worry about what time it is. Oh, I need to go home now. Oh, the session's over. I can sit there and re-record something over and over and over again until it sounds amazing. Whereas before, when I didn't have that control, yeah, I will hold my hands up. I would just be like, you know what, fuck it. Yeah, I did miss it there, but whatever. I don't have time to do it now. Just mix it, boom, release it. Now, I've got the means to be able to correct everything, so...
Do you overcorrect your records?
Sometimes. I know you're looking at me like, sometimes you don't, because I tell you, but you ignore me, bitch. But no, a lot more than I used to, 100%.
Yeah.
If something's so minimal, then maybe I'm like, maybe I can just let it, because it's minimal, innit? And most people don't. Like, sometimes I test it on Tanya. Tanya's my fiance.
And she's sitting on our left.
She is sitting
on
Tanya.
My left.
Hello. Hey, Tanya. But sometimes I test it on Tanya because Tanya's not someone that's in the music field or doesn't make music on that level. So she is my average, like my normal listener, let's say. Yeah. So she's my test. And if she can't hear it, then hey, it's all right, it's fine. Like, I don't need to re-record it. It's all good.
Got you.
Yeah, sometimes. That sounds a bit sloppy, but no.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned in music?
Nobody is going to care as much as you about your product. Or I say product, why am I saying about your music? Like, no one is going to care as much as you are. And you are a little bit naive to think that someone will have the same passion for your project that you will. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make. They think that, people are always going to reciprocate how they're feeling about their own projects and get offended when that isn't the case. But yeah, you just have to do it for yourself. Like, if you have the means to do something yourself, do it. Like, with me, obviously, I can only do stuff to a certain extent. I don't know how to mix and master yet. I mean, never say never. But I'm putting myself in the driving seat when it comes to how the initial recording sounds before everything's mixed, and how I want the song to be laid out and all that kind of thing. But yeah,
Are you paying more attention to recording technique?
I feel like the more I record, the more things I kind of learn about, especially with the program. Like, I thought it was going to take me weeks and weeks to be able to understand.
I remember the initial rage.
I was raging. Because it was Fruity Loops. Like, Sam gave me Fruity Loops. I think it was Fruity Loops 20. I'm not sure. But, and even he hates it. He doesn't even use it. And he gave it to me. And I opened it up. And it was the most complicated thing I've ever seen. Like, because, you know, Fruity Loops isn't really great for recording. It's more for producers. Like, it's designed more for producers. So I opened it, I was like, oh, okay. So I closed that. And then I opened up, I have Ableton, a light version of Ableton that
with
came...
8 tracks.
Please let me get onto that embarrassment in a second. But it came with my interface. And yeah, so it came with my interface, Ableton Light. I can only record 8 tracks on it at a time. So if there's a hook that I have a lot of layers to, I have to do it on a separate project. But whatever, Arjun, yeah, you gotta do what you must to make it work. But I'll get the full version one day when I, you know, care enough. But meanwhile, I can use the light version. I just have a lot of different stem packs.
So tell me, where do people find you?
They can find me on Spotify, and they can find me on YouTube, and they can find me on SoundCloud. They can find me on Apple Music. They can find me on Deezer. They can find me pretty much everywhere.
I like how you're actually listening off and realising more platforms as you're going along. Lately.
I just had to stop because I'm going to forget some, and also I don't really know much else other than that. But because my distributor is Ditto, it asks you who, like, when you send to stores, who you want to send it to. I just say send it to every single one. Like, every single one on your list, send it to. So I'm on whatever the hell they have, so...
Places you don't even know about yet.
Exactly.
And one day it's going to be in the Middle East and it's going to turn up on some random station.
Exactly. So I don't know where I am, but I am about... what was the thing the other day? What's the thing you use to tell you what song something is?
Shazam.
I came up on my friend's Shazam the other day. They were like, you're on Shazam? I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. But yeah, because they Shazammed my song and it came up. And I was like, that's pretty damn cool. So yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. So I'm on Shazam, peeps. Find me on Shazam.
Find me on Shazam. Just if you hit your Shazam right now, Abby's going to do a live take of one of her most elaborate singing pieces to date.
Yep. And a one. No, I'm joking.
So you've got more singles. You just had a single, Confessions, come out on SBTV today.
Yes.
If you were to tell someone listening to go and listen to one thing that you'd made that you're really proud of recently, what would it be?
I would say probably Confessions. Because you're putting me on a spot now, because I love Chargy, because I released Chargy as well. I love Chargy.
Chargy was a great release at a great time as well.
Yeah, I had to get it out just before summer ended. And obviously it's the first song that me and Sam made together after so long. And that's why it was really important as well. But if you want something that's more kind of... Chargy's sentimental to me because it's about me writing about my fiance and that kind of thing. You can listen to it and it can be like a nice little summary song, but it's got a different meaning to me. So for the listener to listen to something that's going to be meaningful to them or is going to touch them in some way, it's going to be Confessions.
Got you.
Because, you know, it's basically, first of all, you mixed this.
Oh, yes, I did.
So it's called we're having this podcast interview on the same day that the song that you mixed has been released on SBTV, which is my first time on SBTV ever.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I've never been on SBTV.
You've been on Link Up, though.
I've been on Link Up a lot.
I thought you've been on SB.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you know. Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations to both of us.
Congratulations, us.
We won.
We won indeed. This has been fun.
Yeah, we did it. We can just quit now.
That's it. Done.
We made it to Smoky Bars. But yeah, no, it's an important song because not only is it kind of it's got a lovely tribute to Ty in there that you found actually. And you
we found that together actually. We were like, hey, should we put a quote in here?
Yeah, because obviously Genesis had, you know, discussed Ty in his bars, and I was like, you know what, I know how much kind of Ty meant to Genesis, and I was like, let's do something. Because obviously this is a UK hip hop song, and it's talking about kind of how it doesn't really matter what other people think. You make what you want to make. And then with that added bit from Genesis, I was like, this is perfect because Ty is a UK hip hop vet.
And we found the right quote.
And we found a perfect quote. Like, it's amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better quote. And it basically just wraps it up and just gives the message that we wanted to give, which is basically fuck who cares what age you are? Who cares what your circumstances are? If you want to make music, make music, man. And that's the message behind the song. And that's, you know, I was just really grateful to be able to get Genesis on the song again because we worked together on my last project. And Courtney as well. Obviously, my first proper release was with Courtney. So to be able to come full circle with both of them and have this come out was awesome. Like, because initially I asked Courtney for the last verse and she heard, because I was singing the hook, I wrote the hook. So I sent her the version with the empty verse and she was like, no, you need to send me.
But you're still under the last chorus on that record.
I am. I am still there. I'm hidden on the last chorus. But it was initially always me. And then she was like, no, let me sing the hook. And I was like, what, you want to sing this, like the same hook? And she was like, yeah, I'll sing the hook for you. She's like, I think within the same day that she messaged me, she sent me the stems that night. Like she sent it back and I was gassed. I was like, not only do I have Courtney Bennett on a song again, I have Courtney Bennett singing my hook that I wrote. I have a singer singing a hook that I wrote, which means that it can't have been too bad. In a phenomenal singer. So that's cool because it was a first for me. Like I've never written something that a singer has then gone and sung over.
Right, okay. You never songwritten for anyone other than yourself.
No, exactly. So
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
It was cool. It was awesome. It was cool. But so that's definitely the song.
And not listen to Confessions.
I mean, listen to both of them, but yeah, Confessions came out today. It's on SBTV, the official lyric video, and it's on all streaming platforms. And you'll find it on, what is it I just said? Shazam. Shazam that shit.
Nice. This has been fun.
It has been fun.
Good times. Thank you, Abby.
We're done.
We are done.
Just like that.
Just like that.
We're not going to have like a beautiful ending or anything like that.
What's a beautiful ending?
When you tell the listeners how much I mean to you. You know, because I am your best friend.
I'm not allowed to lie on the show.
Wow! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last you'll ever hear from Arjun. So say goodbye.
There is a knife on the end of this table.
There is, and it's closest to me.
I think...
Before we end the show, on that note, I told Tanya the other day about that song, that Lady Gaga song that I tried to do. And I was going to use this song to propose to my then girlfriend, now fiance too, but I just couldn't hit the notes on the song. And we just didn't end up re-recording or mixing it before I was going to propose. So that was my big plan. I was going to do the Lady Gaga song.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I can't even remember what the song was called. It was from the movie she did.
It was from the movie, and we found the piano version.
Yes, it was beautiful, but I just couldn't hit the notes. We were getting so far, I was getting so angry.
It wasn't a we thing. 100% wasn't a we thing. We weren't getting frustrated.
I mean, I was getting really frustrated. I got really, really, really frustrated, only because I had a time limit, and I know why I was doing it. And it couldn't have been some shabby like version. It had to be something that was decent if it was going to be for that. And then I just ended up not doing one at all. And we had Elvis playing in the background instead. Love Me Tender. Yeah.
Best. Now I'm definitely going to end it. Peace.
Peace.